Greetings, TBC One viewers. Welcome to Focus on This Week. This is a program that offers crucial and significant discussion on weekly and current dominating events so as to influence positive change in Tanzania, in Africa, and in the world at large. In leading this program, I'm your host, Caroline Maleo, and we'll be together every weekday at the same time and on the same day. Today, we will discuss a topic titled Research Week in Higher Learning Institutions. Is it a race towards getting high GPAs, or is it a platform for purposeful innovation? And to dive deep into this topic, we are joined with brilliant minds from the University of Dar es Salaam. We are joined with Dr. Mona Mwakalinga, who is the Dean of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication. You're mostly welcome.
Thank you very much.
We are also joined with Dr. Leonard Binamungu, who is a research grant coordinator at the University of Dar es Salaam. You're mostly welcome.
Thank you.
But we're also joined with Dr. Samuel Limbu, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Dar es Salaam. You're mostly welcome.
Thank you very much.
But before we dive deep into the topic, let's take a look at these student voices that I interviewed from the University of Dar es Salaam.
Form that students can showcase their talent. You know, it's not overall that every time the students will be meeting up their lecturers, meeting up their teachers, they show them what they have. But through this research week, they have that time, that exposure to tell their teachers, tell their lecturers, we know this, we can do this, and it's when we see them, it's when we see what they can do, it's revealed to us, it's revealed to the people who can support.
Basically there to make sure that, you know, the community understands what the university is doing, and that the university has come up with solutions, because this is the hub of knowledge, a hub of excellence. So people expect quite a lot from universities, not only in Tanzania but around the world. They expect quite a lot from universities because universities actually answer to the problems that the societies are facing. So Research Week, especially with the question of innovation, is quite critical and important, because we'll get to see what the university has been able to innovate, you know.
It's beneficial for students because they can showcase their skills and their talents and different innovations that they have made, and they can show what they have found. For example, we saw a car, I think 2 years back, that was made by students of UDSM. So through this Research Week, people from different areas get to see what these students have done.
Across Tanzanian universities, Research Week has been an important tradition where students and different colleges across higher learning institutions showcase different innovations and different research. But the real question stands out. Are these innovations and research that are showcased during a Research Week solving real-time challenges that are facing the Tanzanian society? And is Tanzanian system ready to embrace these innovations and the research that are being conducted? Now, to dive deep into the topic, as I said, we're joined with great minds from the University of Dar es Salaam. And directly, let's start having our discussion. Beginning with, they say women first. So we'll start with Dr. Mona Mwakalinga. Can you tell us what is the Research Week and what is the real intent behind the Research Week that takes place in higher learning institutions? Is it something that was adopted from the foreign countries, or how did it start? Can you just tell us more about it?
First of all, I just have to express that no, it was not taken from other countries and brought here, but it comes out of, again, research, knowing what is it that you do. Mm-hmm. So 10 years ago, great minds again sat and said, we do a lot of research, but are society aware? Are our partners aware of what we're doing? So it's very important to showcase what you do, and not just showcase, you know, commercialize at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Meet with different minds, stakeholders, the business side of the community, to come together and commercialize the finding. Mm-hmm. Because research is done by university and others. It's very important. Mm-hmm. You do research so that you can solve problems in the society. Yeah. If you don't do research for solving problem, then you're just there not improving your country. So research
week was established to showcase the researches that are done by members of the university academic community, students of the University of Dar es Salaam. And so, first of all, so we all can know. We have partners here. Some come from a school which is in Kunduchi. So we don't usually visit there. But if we come together and showcase what we see, I can easily say, oh, that's what's done in Kunduchi. Why don't we collaborate together in this aspect? So we move forward whatever that we have created. But also the world gets to see, Tanzanian community gets to see what we are doing, and therefore collaboration, which is a very important aspect of any research of any institution. Collaboration takes place. Linkages with industry takes place, and therefore you are able to provide the necessary output for the community.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mwona. You talked about collaboration and linkages. We'll just come back to that later on. Now going to Dr. Binamungu. Can you also explain about what is the Research Week and the real intent of it? And has the Research Week evolved into a platform for purposeful innovations in higher learning institutions?
Right, so thank you very much. Again, thank you very much for having me. Like you said at the beginning, my name's Leonard Peter Binamungu. I'm the Research Grant Coordinator of the University of Dar es Salaam. Now let's talk about the Research Week. Like Dr. Mwakalinga said, it started in 2015. So the idea was we do a lot of research and innovation within our different units within the university. But how do we get to, first of all, within the university, recognize who is doing well and in what area, so that we can award, appreciate in the first place, and then encourage to even do better. So that's foremost, what we do. And then after we have recognized, appreciated, and awarded, we want to connect these researchers and innovators with a broad array of stakeholders, because we want the stakeholders to know what exactly is happening at the University of Dar es Salaam, see how they could possibly benefit from what we are doing, and therefore see whether we could have, strong areas of collaboration. So it's been taking place from 2015, and this year is the 10th anniversary, if you like. and we've had a lot really achieved within that space of time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Binamungu. Now moving to Dr. Limbu.
Yes.
Dr. Limbu, can you tell us now on that Research Week, since it started, as
Yes.
Dr. Binamungu had explained, can we say that we're still stuck into the circle of academic formalities and GPA-driven motivation for the students to be part of the Research Week, or is it something that really is bringing innovations and collaborations, as it has been explained?
Thank you very much, Caroline. As you introduced me, I'm Samuel Mchere Limbu, a senior lecturer at the University of Dar es Salaam. As it has been explained, Research and Innovation Week, not only the week, but research in general, is there to solve societal problems.
Definitely.
Yes, and also we do research to advance in knowledge, because there are basic research that we can do, not only for solving problems, but at least to know where are we and what should we do. But also the research that and the innovations which are conducted are basically for economic growth. So the research that is conducted by students and of course the academia in general is not only for the GPAs and the academic issues. We are doing research that mostly what we show in the week are those which are solving directly the problems of the society. The basic research and the research for knowledge, this one we keep to enrich our understanding so that we can tackle what is existing in the society. So whatever is being done is not for the GPAs and all that, no. It is for solving indeed the as probably we will tell you later, we can highlight a few which we think they are spotlight on what we have already solved some of the challenges of our society through the research which are conducted at the University of Dar es Salaam.
And maybe, Dr. Limbu, you can tell us, because it's a tradition that has been happening from before, what are those innovations, or what are those things that have already been done in other research weeks, and what has actually been done? Can you just
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting aspect. You can see the university have done this for 10 years, and we are using resources. So we need to see the value of money between what we are investing and what we are getting into the society. I will mention a few. I think you have seen within the society people are using EFD machines.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes from the University of Dar es Salaam. Ooh. Have you traveled across Tanzania and they use the e-ticketing?
Yeah.
That is an innovation from the University of Dar es Salaam. The other aspect, if you go to different hospitals, people have been able these days to capture data even from remote areas. This is an innovation that was established from the University of Dar es Salaam.
Wow.
We have several of those,
and I think we won't finish
including
but now let's
some
go back
on the fishing industry, where people at these days can know exactly, because when you go fishing, you go hunting. You don't know where the fish are.
Yes.
But through innovation, we have applications that can tell you where exactly the fish are. And you go without losing much time and saving resources of going around trying to trace the fish.
Yeah.
So these are a few that you can see that we have innovated, which are actually used by the society. And there are still more to come as we are doing the research week.
Thank you so much, Dr. Limbu. You have clearly explained a lot of amazing things that are actually happening. Now I'm going to Dr. Mona.
Yes.
Dr. Mona, you're from School of Journalism and Mass Communication of the University of Dar es Salaam. And I have read more about the NORPART project that is taking place in the school, but also about the report that the school normally launches on the yearbook report on election in the country and more. Most of the Tanzanians, most of the people think that innovation and research, is all about the hard stuff, is all about science and technology and the things that Dr. Limbu has actually explained. So can you tell us how does journalism and communication contribute to innovation, and what are the things that are being done in the media or the communication sector? Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that question. As you have said it yourself, we have a project called NORPART, Expanding Horizons for Journalism and Media Study, as well as one of our biggest research output, which is called Yearbook Quality of Media Reporting in Tanzania. If I would start with quality of yearbook reporting in Tanzania, one of the aspects that we do is to monitor the media industry in Tanzania to make sure that it's able to provide the necessary quality-driven reporting. So throughout the year, we monitor all the medias in Tanzania, we monitor the community radios, and at the end of the day, the data that's collected, we usually go back to the media and we say, this is the face of the media in Tanzania, this is the face of TBC in Tanzania, this is the face. So through that, media industry are able to say, okay, reporting, you have to have at least two perspectives. But here, we only have one perspective. So we are actually not providing the necessary information to the community for them to be able to make decision. We are only reporting, whereby we're not bringing the different sides of the story, which is very, very important. We will also say, look at this. We have talked about issues, but there have not been issues dealing with women's voices. Women have not interviewed. Women have not been brought forth to speak about their issues and how they deal with it. So when we live in a society where we have men and women, it's very important to balance the stories that we tell. So we show the media houses and the government institutions as well, TCRA and everybody, to say this is how it's happening. So how can we move forward? What is it that needs to be done so that we can get to a point where we're reporting professionally with the professional ethics and standard in place? So the quality yearbook has been there for almost 5 years right now. We are moving. And we have seen the changes that are taking place within the media industry. So our contribution is very big in the sense that the yearbook project has managed to change the face of the media industry in Tanzania by showing their face, their everyday activity, because it's facts driven. You know, this is what you've done, you know. And at the end of the day as well, we also award those who have done a better performance than others, and we do publicly say it. And, you know, it also forces us to do better the next year. So the yearbook project is something that's out there to make sure that we are improving our media houses and our media reporting. So, and it's doing a very good job. When we come to the NOPAD, the, Expanding Horizons in Journalism and Media Study, that's a research project. And as I said in the beginning, collaboration is very important in living in today's world. So it's a collaboration between Norwegian and Oslo University and our school, whereby we provide exchange program for our master students to go there for at least 3 to 4 months to study, to go to class, but to also learn and exchange ideas. But we also have master's program. And I'm happy to say the presenter here today was one of them who went to Norway and has, and finished her master's there. And so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much,
And we see the importance of collaboration, expanding horizon, expanding your ideas, expanding your thinking. We need to do that very, very much. And these programs of this nature do that. They're bringing in international thinking, global thinking, and therefore we become part and parcel of that community, and we move forward the research agenda of the nation as well. But again, collaboration. We live in a global village where without collaboration you cannot move forward. So we are very, very humbled by those exchanges that we do have, and we look for more, and we'll continue to do better and better.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. Dr. Mona has actually explained more about research in the communication world, and of course I am really proud to be a part of a beneficiary from the project. Now coming to Dr. Limbo.
Yes.
Is the Research Week all about just technology? Is research all about, is innovation all about technology? Can you just explain that?
Thank you very much. I wouldn't say it is all about innovation and technology, but as you have seen from Dr. Mona, there are different aspects which are being conducted during this period. We do it yearly. We have several what we call as categories that are being showcased during this period. We have up to 11 categories. So within this, we have been talking about collaboration. So one of the category is on collaborative research. We have to see who have managed to collaborate with many other researchers across the world or within Tanzania. And if you need to do innovation and research, you need some money.
Of course.
So we have a category for someone who have attracted, whether it's a unit that has attracted a large amount of money to do research. We also have another on the same for the innovation part. We are also interested in research of the year. Somebody who have done research with at least high impact to the community. We also have a category for innovator. we have not also forgotten about our students, because we are there to generate knowledge. So we have two categories which are specifically intended for the students, the undergraduate one as well as the postgraduate. And then we are looking for digital technology. So we have a specific category in digital technology, somebody who has interacted with the industry in the form of digital technology. But not only research and technology, as you said, we are also looking on consultant services. At the university, we have to offer service to the community. So we also have a category specifically on consultancies. So it's not about technology alone, but multiple issues that are geared towards solving the societal problem, from research to consultant services.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Limbo, for that explanations that you've provided. Now, Dr. Binamungu, back to you. There are things that Dr. Limbo explained on the departments, that there's a department that is supposed to work on funds, and I know this is your area. Now let's not just talk about the University of Dar es Salaam, but as the nation at large in terms of higher learning institutions. So there's a 2023 study that has been done by African Union's Science, Technology and Innovation Strategy that was published in 2024. In this study, it reveals that one of the biggest gaps in African universities is the lack of mechanisms to connect students, researchers and innovations to the industry partners, funds and policy platforms. So can you explain to us if there are mechanisms or partnerships to link the students' innovations with the real opportunities like funding, incubating and more in higher learning institutions?
Right, so thank you very much. So just to pick up on where Dr. Limbo ended, so the kind of innovation we encourage at the university are not just digital technology or technology-related on innovations alone. So we also encourage innovation in terms of processes, in terms of services, and things of the sort. And you can see the university is a complex, organization with different, disciplines and minds and everything. So we try to accommodate every discipline as we encourage research and innovation. So I just wanted to add that as well, on top of what Dr. Limbo said. Now back to your question, the funding question.
The linkage.
Yes, and the linkage as well. So it's true that, funding is a challenge for not only in the higher learning institutions in Tanzania, but across the continent. And the studies has of course indicated that only a tiny proportion of countries in the annual budgets of countries in the global south is directed towards research. And you'll be surprised, some countries are even spend less than 0.1% of their annual budget on research funding. Yeah, so that's a concern, really. But what are we doing as a university? So at the university, I think we mainly have two mechanisms of funding research and innovation. One is, so there is internal funding. So the university has, for the past 7 years, been setting apart a dedicated budget for research funding. And as I'm speaking, we have had 5 competitive research and innovation calls, all of which have amounted to almost 10 billion Tanzanian shillings. And as I'm speaking, almost 6 billion have been given to researchers and innovators. So that's the initiative from the University of Dar es Salaam, just to encourage our researchers and innovators to actually conduct research and address problems that matter for the Tanzanian population. And of course the broader scientific community as well, because one of the things I struggle with is when people say, oh, we want to be conducting research just to solve the immediate problems ahead of us. we need to be holistic in terms of how we approach research, because there are times we need to do applied research, yes, but there are times we need to do basic research. It's times we need to conduct research for the sake of research. Part of what we enjoy today in the technological world was conducted when the immediate use wasn't as obvious. For example, we can talk of the transistor technology, which is behind most of the chips and the electronic and the manufacturing industries and the digital technologies we enjoy today. Was in the first place conducted for the sake of science, not to address immediate problems. So the University of Dar es Salaam tries to strike that precious balance between funding immediately applied research and then basic research, research for the sake of research. So that's one thing. And then how do we link our students with the industry? Right, so we've been trying hard really to try to see how whatever we do in our labs or our innovation hubs meets the corresponding stakeholders in industry. For example, I come from the Department of Computer Science, so I'll give you an example from the College of Information and Communication Technologies of the University of Dar es Salaam, where we have a lot of innovation hubs. Our students work with industry stakeholders from banks, to water sector, to health sector, both local and international stakeholders who actually provide challenges. And then they bring the challenges to our innovation hubs. Our students work on those challenges. They innovate in ways that address those challenges. And then when the solutions are out, actually, the stakeholders who brought the challenges go and consume the solutions. And so that is one way we link our students with the industry stakeholders. But of course, the question of scaling these innovations beyond the labs has always been, a challenge, because some of our students, after they've innovated, they want, let's say, to scale, let's say, establish companies and scale their solutions to reach a broader array of stakeholders. And so in that situation, obviously you need venture capitalists to come and inject some funding so that, they can produce, their services and products at a larger scale. And that has always been, a challenge, partly due to our policies and some other things which are to do with, how a broader society of Tanzania approaches innovation, research and commercialization. Maybe we can talk more about that. I just hope I've addressed your question. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Now,
I just wanted to add a little bit in terms of the linkages and the research week. And that's why we have a setting where we make sure we bring people from the industry to come to Research Week, and we dialogue with them and see how we can move forward together.
And how is their tech? How do these stakeholders take?
They're very, very open to it, and we have more coming in because sometimes we may be doing things and it's required there, but they don't know where to go to. So these dialogue open up space where we can come and work together and have what he's talking about, where people go in, but where we can also take our students, or they can come to our classes. We have what we call industry linkage, where you can bring somebody from the industry to come to the classroom and spend time with the students so that you can have that connection from the theory and the practical that we do, but what is happening in the real world. So bringing those two people together, the industry to the university and the university to the industry, is what we look forward, and the Research Week provide a platform for that kind of a discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona, from the industry, from the classroom to the industry.
Yes.
What about you, Dr. Limbo? What's your take on that?
Yes, as it has been explained by Dr. Binamungu and Dr. Mona, we actually have a specific directorate on these issues. We have Directorate of Innovations, which have incubation centers that are geared. If we see a student have an innovative idea, a good research, we incubate them, and enrich them with the required knowledge so that they can grow and use their innovation in the future to save the society. So we have that. As it has also been explained by Dr. Mona, we have a specific department dealing with university industrial partnership or linkage. Here, we establish several memorandum of understandings with the industry to see, they bring us the challenges, we provide the solution. And this is how we involve our students in solving the challenges of the society. Even what has been explained by Dr. Binamungu on the internal funding, we encourage that if you are applying for these funds, you have to include junior staff in your team so that you can pass the knowledge to the next generation. So we devise several mechanisms to include our students in solving the societal problems. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe I should also have mentioned that we also have external funding. So our research and innovation activities are both internally and externally funded. Yes. So that's something I wanted to add, really.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Binamungu. TBC One viewers, if you're just tuning in the channel right now, the program on air is Focus on This Week. And today we are discussing about Research Week in higher learning institutions, if it is a race for getting high GPAs or a real platform for innovation. And actually, we are joined with different doctors from the University of Dar es Salaam, different great minds, Dr. Mona Mwakalinga, Dr. Binamungu, and Dr. Samuel Limbo, and we're here diving deep into the topic. Now let's talk about the big fish, the real big fish. We know that we are living in the AI world. AI has come, and it just come to stay. And in higher learning institutions right now, we see that the students are embracing and they're using AI, especially ChatGPT, to do their assignments and their research and more. But we know that the AI was not created from our context. It was created from the external world. How do we make sure that we're embracing AI learning, but in a way that it does not destroy the student-teacher relationship? And how do you tackle this big fish, the artificial intelligence in higher learning institutions? Maybe we start with Dr. Mona.
Oh, thank you.
And actually as lecturers, not from the University of Dar es Salaam. Yes.
Of course, as you said, AI is here, and we need to embrace it ethically. And in class it's used. I mean, to say that students don't use it is to be blind to what is happening. But you have to really inform them how to use it ethically and wisely. It should not take over your mind. You should be taking over it for it to help you. And that's very important. I think when it came in, we were also afraid. We were thinking of how to stop it, how to do it. But if you think positively, it's like, how can you use it? How can you hasten it to help you in doing the work that you are supposed to be doing? So as a lecturer, I always tell my students, and I even have it in my course outline, that, you know, this is there, use it ethically, but as a lecturer, we also have to make sure that what is provided to us really belongs to that student. So it's usually checked in. We have what we call Turnitin, where you can provide the information and it can tell you what percentage of it is not that student. So there's a certain percentage. If it's above that, then like, I usually tell my students, I want to hear your voice in your work. So that voice should be yours, and other things should help you to bring out your voice in your work. So it's here. We use it, but we have to use it wisely, ethically, to help us move forward, not for it to do our work 100%.
Thank you so much, Dr. When I look at Dr. Limbo, I see that he's very excited to talk about it. Dr. Limbo, can you say something about it?
Yes, AI is something that we have it. And of course, if you want to grow, we need not to be too rigid to the new developments and technologies. But then, as Dr. Mona has said, we need to embrace it legally.
What do you mean by that?
Yes. The good thing with AI, particularly if you are just searching for information, it may mislead you. It may mislead you because it is a computational thing that brings the output. So if you don't have a keen knowledge on what you are interested in, you may talk something that is completely insane. So therefore, you have first to have your idea, which is based on established facts. And then you can improve your thinking by using AI. Not simply giving AI something to do on behalf of you. That at least will take you to a different level that will not be legal.
But
so,
Dr. Limbo, do
yes.
the students know this information?
Yes, we do try to educate them. One of my students, I gave him, we are writing a paper with one of my undergraduate students. And what he did, of course, was to take the challenge to AI, and he generated the text. Actually, it's not one, at least two. But when I read the text, I found it missing the human nature. The text written by AI and the text written by Caroline, they are quite different. So the humanization, when I read the text, I will tell you exactly that this is not your idea. And as Mona said, we do have some software which can test the plagiarism level that you have used. So we combine our knowledge that we have and that of the software to shape the students on how they can use legally the AI without, by keeping their intact memory and the thinking. Because if we are not keen enough, we will not be thinking anymore.
Exactly.
We will just be popping in some questions into the AI, and it does for us. But as I said, if you check closely, you will find that it misses a lot of things. So it's better you first have your idea, frame it well, and then you use it to improve, particularly the language, and then you can... The other thing that is very important, we are trying to avoid too much assignments that requires a student to write.
Yeah, exactly.
How is that, how is that, Dr. Limbo, while higher learning institutions are supposed to encourage research and supposed to encourage students to write? Now, why are you...
What I'm saying is, if it is just an assignment that you can discuss with the students face to face, do it to testify what is there in their mind. Because if you give them, they will use the AI and then they will generate something which you think is their knowledge, but actually is something that they just did from the AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Limbo. That was a very interesting discussion. Now let's hear from Dr. Binamungu on the very same topic.
Thank you very much, Caroline. So maybe first things first. AI is not new. AI has been here for more than 60 years.
Okay.
So those of us from computer science know that the first paper on artificial intelligence was published in 1950 by Alan Turing, the British computer scientist and mathematician.
Okay, so Dr.
It's called
Binamungu.
the computing machinery.
Okay.
So if you read that paper, the idea from Alan Turing was to try to see, so the question was, how can we make computers do the tasks that could otherwise be done by human beings. So that was the question. And then he goes on to argue in that paper by providing a test that when that test has been passed, we can say that computers can now think like human beings. Now I can assure you from the outset, we have not passed the Turing test. 70 years later. No matter how people seem to be excited with what is happening with generative AI and everything, we have not passed that test. Computers haven't been able to surpass the ability of humans to think. So that's the first thing I wanted to put into context. And the AI has always been here. It's only recently when people try to associate generative AI with everything AI. Now artificial intelligence is far beyond the generative AIs and the ChatGPTs and the tools you use. So ChatGPT really works based on a certain set of AI models which are called large language models. So I think that's one thing we should get out clearly in the first place. And whether the generative AI models like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and others can actually give you the kind of answers you want or not. So that's an interesting question as well. Like Dr. Limbu and Dr. Mona have said, we know for a fact that the nature of generative AI models, or large language models for that matter, that they are not designed to be giving correct responses. Actually, the way they work, they are statistical models which, given a sequence, let's say, of words, they would predict the next possible word. So that's the nature of the models, which is why sometimes when they give you the kind of information you requested, some of it might be true or may not be true, because they are the information they give you are based on probabilistic models. If you know what a probability means, you probably will be able to connect the dots. Which is why there is one interesting paper which has been published, I think it was last year, and maybe if you allow me, I can mention here. It's called ChatGPT is bullshit. So in that paper, in that paper, they try to explain the different types of bullshits. So that is soft bullshit and hard bullshit. So the soft bullshit is so if the model gives you wrong information and it didn't intend to give you wrong information, so that's soft bullshit. But if it lies to you and it did intend to lie to you, so that's hard bullshit.
Yes.
And then in that paper, they go on to argue that what ChatGPT and all these generative AI models give are basically soft bullshits. And so if they cheat to you, it's not because they intended to cheat, it's because you over-expected it from them. So I wanted to put that.
I like that.
So what does that mean? We cannot shy away from relying on individuals and humans, especially in critical moments. But, and this is the big but, the advent of large language models have challenged our approach to teaching and learning, institutions of higher learning. And that is not a fact we can shy away from. The big question here is, how do we ensure that our students are still learning, even in the presence of tools like ChatGPT and the likes? So that's the kind of question that higher learning institutions need to grapple with. So the kind of policies for teaching and assessment and everything need to be centered around addressing that bigger question. How do we ensure that our students are still learning in the midst of, all these large language models? And so some institutions have addressed this question differently. Some have given out policies which focus on, instructing. You shall not do this, you shall do this. But I can assure you that kind of, policy is not going to help you.
It's not going to work.
The best way is to revisit the way we teach. the way our students learn,
Yeah.
the way we assess their learning. Part of how we need to change has been, talked about by Dr. Limbo. We need to think the way. So what I would say is we need to teach our students to think with AI tools, not let AI tools think for them.
And I would add, we need lecturers to relearn as well.
Yes.
Yeah, to relearn and learn anew on how to go about assessing our students.
Yeah. And so finally, what I wanted to say is we need the kind of policies that strike that precious balance between being overly negative and encouraging innovation. We need to encourage innovation. We already have our students who are already innovating around AI. We need to encourage them, and we need to see that their products are getting to the markets and are being used. And that can only happen if we do not take AI negative. We just need to be positive, look at the negative sides and see how we address them using policies, and then look at the positive sides and encourage our students to innovate more around that space. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Binamungu. That was very interesting to hear. With the last thing that you just said, I'm curious to know, can our students really innovate our own AI that will not be having these challenges? Yes.
Give them an example.
Yes.
The Kiswahili.
Yes, I think we have a lot of innovations around AI at the College of Information and Communication Technologies.
Okay.
Our students are already developing these models, and they are already doing great in that space. So the Swahili, the other one you were, talking about this week.
Yes.
In a different context. So our students can innovate. That's what I'm saying. But we need to give them that edge so that they can go beyond the lab environment to, the society where their solutions and technologies are used. And this is one of the things we achieve through the Research and Innovation Weeks.
Yeah.
One of the things we do through the Research and Innovation Weeks is to enable us to accentuate the innovations from our students. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Binamungu. AI is indeed a very big topic, and I think we won't finish it. But now let's go back to Research Week. Are there student-led projects on the university or the higher learning institutions Research Week? And are these student-led, and do these student-led projects go beyond the classroom assignments? Maybe we can start with Dr. Limbo.
Yes.
Welcome.
As I said earlier, that we do have several categories, and category 7, which is for innovative project from postgraduate students. We also have category 8. This is specifically for the undergraduate students. So within the Research and Innovation Week, we have several of those. The one that on AI, which we are just talking here, called Nena AI, which transcribes, I think, in Swahili. You ask it, it gives you something in our own Swahili language, is for the students. But we also have a project that is, we do know that we can measure blood groups by taking blood from your body, and then you do some biochemical analysis. Now, there is a student who has a project which is non-destructive, non-invasive. You don't pinch your body to know your blood group.
Okay.
Yes, so it is just through your finger, you touch somewhere, you have your blood group. This is a student-led project. Wow. If I can remember another one which is very interesting on this, I think we also have a project on Pesa Monta, which is an application. We know that we are borrowing money from banks and other institutions. You borrow money, but you don't know how exactly you should spend that money. So we have students innovating the Pesa Monta, which can monitor how you are going to use your money that you have borrowed from any source of interest. So there are several of these, and if I remember correctly, out of the 106 or so projects, about 30 projects are for the students. There are several that we are going to showcase which belongs to the students. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Limo. Now maybe coming to Dr. Mona. Dr. Limo has explained these technological student-led innovations and projects. Maybe from you, Dr. Mona, can you tell us if there are student-led projects but are non-technological ones, the ones that are not technological innovations or projects?
Oh, yes, they are. We have a sense of thinking innovation is all about science, as you said, and technology, but it's not. We have students, and we have had a lot of students from the journalism and mass communication school, but just as well I will have to go from the creative department where I come from, where students have devised, for example, kanga using not fabric, but using leaves. They have devised, of course they do painting, they do performances, but they also create a certain graphics that speak to a certain level. So in the creative arts department, they usually do a lot of creative aspect of those kind of innovations that some may not considered, you know, hardcore innovations, but innovation of ideas and how to go about marketing it, for example, the kanga and the kanga design. And they have gone into the different companies and factories where our students have gone there to create kangas, to create the design, which are, at the end of the day, commercialized and sold. So there's a lot of that kind of innovative idea that I brought forth. But we also have MetaWorks, where students think in terms of how do you use this disposable, how do you take this disposable stuff and create them into the art form. So there's a lot of creating using disposable bottles, using disposable tiles, but making an artwork out of that. So there's a lot of that kind of a creation that does happen from the creative arts. But in terms of the School of Journalism and Mass Communications, we have students, we have a radio and television space, but so therefore in that space, it's like, what can you do? How can you use the little resources that you have to be able to provide impactful information, impactful research? So students usually go through those different activities to make sure, how do you look at something that's very small, but it's not as small as you think. It has a very big impact to the society. And how do you address it? How do you talk about it? How do you create those little documentary, and where do you put those? So students are very inquisitive. One thing that I would have to say is that we force students to be inquisitive. To ask questions, to ask the question why. Always, don't take things for granted. Everybody who has ever done anything, we're always inquisitive. So we ask students to be inquisitive and to not put yourself in a box. Nothing that you do will be said, oh no, this is not. This is your idea. Go for it, make it, have a passion for it, and that's the only way one can succeed. Enjoy what you're doing. So being inquisitive, think outside the box, do it, and the Research Week is a platform for us to see things in a different way, to be informed that there are different ways of doing things. So that's what I would like to add.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona, for that amazing sharing. But I am curious, maybe I can go to Dr. Binamungu. winding up because the time is actually not by our side.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, Dr. Binamungu, why are these student-led projects that are not technological ones, not well known by the world, by the public? They're there. Dr. Mona has explained a lot about them, but why don't we know? And it's still that, especially actually in our Tanzanian society, not just in the whole world, because in some countries, maybe they're well known. Why is this the case while these projects are there and the students are doing innovations? Maybe this is the real intent of the Research Week. How will our Tanzanian society know about this?
So I think one of the answers you have provided, that's the real intent of the Research Week. We want them seen by the broader society. But I think the other reason is it has become now fashionable, at least in the recent past, to talk more about technology-led or technology kind of innovations at the expense of, other kinds of innovations. And we need to warn our society to be very careful because technology on its own cannot solve all the problems our society has got. Which is why at the University of Dar es Salaam we talk of interdisciplinary and collaboration when it comes to addressing challenges that face our society. We need researchers from different disciplines to be able to work together to address bigger questions. And I can tell you most of the problems that face humanity today cannot be addressed by knowledge and tools from one discipline alone. No. So that's one thing. But the other thing is maybe this is a call to our institutions that support research and innovation across the country, the COSTECH and the others, to try to, see that we embrace a holistic approach in making sure that all these efforts from different disciplines are accommodated. I know COSTECH is doing something along that line, but maybe they probably need to do more. Yeah, so that's what I would say, really.
I would just like to add a little bit in terms of the University of Dar es Salaam. University of Dar es Salaam is actually really doing the best that it can in terms of projecting these different disciplines. For example, we have what we call the Saba Saba, you know that. So the university every year participates, and within that participation, there's always the voices from the humanity, from the creative arts, are always part of the exhibition, just as well to showcase to the world that there is also this part that we usually take for granted. We usually assume, music, we enjoy, it's just there. But just imagine, somebody had said, just imagine if music would not be played for just a day. What kind of a world we would have?
People would be frustrated.
Very frustrated. So in that sense, we take for granted, but it's there and we try to showcase it. And to the best of our capacity, Research Week, we have Nane Nane, there's places where the University of Dar es Salaam usually showcases these different innovation from different parts besides the hardcore technology and science.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. There indeed is a lot that we can talk about, but time is not on our side. I'm being told we're supposed to wind up the program. Dear TBC One viewers, if you were watching this program, the program on air was focused on this week, and today we dived deep into a topic titled Research Week in Higher Learning Institutions, if it is a race for GPAs or if it's a platform for purposeful innovations. And we were with Dr. Mona Mwakalinga, who is the Dean from the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, as well as with Dr. Leonard Binamungu, as well as Dr. Samuel Limbu, all from the University of Dar es Salaam. I'm indeed grateful for your time and for the amazing contributions that you have given in the program. And amongst the things that have been emphasized on today's program is the importance and the significance of collaboration in embracing research and innovation from higher learning institutions. Leading the program today, I was your host, Caroline Maleo. Join my program again next week on Wednesday. We'll be together. See you. Bye-bye.